आज ही डाउटनट ऐप डाउनलोड करें। डाउटनट पर होगा अब आपके सभी मैथ्स, केमिस्ट्री, फिजिक्स और बायोलॉजी डाउट्स का सफाया। बस अपने क्वेश्चन की फोटो खींचो, उसे क्रॉप करो और तुरंत वीडियो सोल्यूशन पाओ। डाउनलोड नाउ।
In this question, we have to name the different cells and the events that they undergo to produce pollen grains. Now, pollen grain is a structure associated with the angiosperms or the flowering plants. The angiosperms are a group in the plant kingdom in which sexual reproduction is accomplished by a specialized unit, by a specialized structure known as the flower. And because it is a unit of sexual reproduction, obviously the flower is going to contain the male and female sex organs, and the male sex organ in the flower is known as the stamen, in which we see that the upper part, or we can say the terminal bilobed part, is known as the anther, and it is inside this anther that the pollen grains are formed by a process called microsporogenesis. So if we look at the structure of the anther, we are going to see that it is bilobed, and we can also say that it is tetragonal. Why we are calling it tetragonal? Because it has 4 corners, and in all these 4 corners we are going to see a microsporangium. Now it is inside this microsporangium that microsporogenesis is going to occur. We see that there is a mass of compactly arranged homogeneous cells inside the microsporangium, and this mass of cells is known as the sporogenous tissue. Now, all of the cells in this sporogenous tissue are capable of microsporogenesis, but some of these cells are going to differentiate to become the pollen mother cells. And these pollen mother cells are going to undergo reduction division or meiosis to produce the pollen grains in groups of 4, because we know when a diploid cell is going to undergo meiosis, it is going to produce 4 haploid cells. So that is why when the microspore mother cells undergo reduction division, they form groups of 4 cells known as the microspore tetrads. So when the anther is going to become fully mature and it is going to become dehydrated, then these pollen grains which are present together as tetrads are going to dissociate from each other. They are going to separate, and now at this stage they are called the pollen grains. As we can see over here, the anther is dehiscing to release the pollen grains, and the pollen grains are coming out, and they are very important structures in the process of sexual reproduction, because it is the pollen grains that represent the male gametophyte. So the male gametes are produced by these pollen grains. So what are the different cells and the events in the formation of pollen grains or in microsporogenesis? We see that microsporogenesis takes place inside the terminal bilobed part of the male sex organ of the stamen, which is known as anther. Now the anther is tetragonal. It has 4 corners, and in each of these corners we see a structure called microsporangium, inside which we are going to find masses of compactly arranged homogeneous cells known as sporogenous tissue. Now some of the cells in the sporogenous tissue act as pollen mother cells, and by meiosis they form the microspore tetrads, and it is these microspores that are going to separate, they are going to dissociate from each other when the anther matures, and they are going to be released from the anther as pollen grains.
क्लास 6 से 12 से लेके नीट, IIT, जेईई मेंस और एडवांस के लेवल तक 10 मिलियन से ज्यादा स्टूडेंट्स का भरोसा। आज ही डाउनलोड करें डाउटनट ऐप या व्हाट्सएप कीजिए अपने डाउट्स 8400 400 400 पर।